Okay, my name is Brody Lastner, and I run the YouTube channel Brody the Cuber.
Alright, how long have you been cubing?
I've been cubing since January 2015, so that's almost 4 years now.
How long have you been cubing?
Coming up on 5 years now.
YouTube channel?
Jhahoua?
Jhahoua?
Yeah, Jhahoua. It's Jhahoua.
Alright. How long have you been cubing?
9.5, almost 10 years. I think it'll be 10 years next year sometime, so a while.
So I've been cubing for about a year and a half, but my first competition was March 2017. So yeah, still about a year and a half.
I've been cubing for 10 years now, maybe 9.
I think like around a year and a half, something like that.
I have been cubing for about 10 years now, as of like last month.
I've been cubing for about 3 or 4 months. I started out with a Rubik's Speed Cube and went from there, just straight up.
I've been cubing for 4.5 years.
Since March, so like a little over 6 months.
How long have you been cubing?
Probably like half a year, I guess. But for half of that time, I didn't know how to solve one.
No, that's fine.
It's pretty funny.
My YouTube channel is Galaxy Cuber. I have a sign right there. I've been cubing since January of 2017, so it's about 2 years now, I think.
Well, I knew how to solve already, and then that previous Christmas I got a 2x2 for the first time, and that's sort of easier to approach, sort of timing yourself, and that's how I got into trying to be as fast as I can, and so from there I decided to sort of learn all the advanced stuff, and I've just kept going from there.
My brother had spent 4 years, and he had promised himself never to look it up. He spent 4 years just figuring out the cube, and I was just awe-inspired, so I looked it up and found.
What made you want to start cubing?
I had a cube for a long time and was always interested in it and liked solving one side, and then eventually just wanted to learn how, so I looked it up on YouTube and was able to do it.
Well, so my sister, she knew how to solve a cube, and she learned when we were like on a road trip. So then she got me one for Christmas, and I was just like, I'll try it. And then I solved it once, I solved it twice, and then I just kept on going from there.
Well, I got bored in math class, and then I needed something to fill in the time that I was supposed to be doing math, and just took up cubing.
I saw a video of someone solving, I think it was Felix's 4.737 world record. I saw that and I was like, whoa, shoot, that's cool. I think I used to have a Rubik's Cube like 4 years ago. Let's see if I can do it. I couldn't find it. But then I went and got a new one, and over the course of a month, I learned how to solve it.
Okay, so I was always really competitive growing up, and my uncle at like family parties, we had tons and tons of family parties growing up, so there was always a Rubik's Cube laying around and he knew how to solve it. So at some point I was like, okay, if he can do it, I should be able to do it. So then I went out and bought one and was like, I'm gonna try and beat him. So I learned it. His best was like 40 seconds, and then took like 2 weeks to beat that, and then after that I was like, okay, like what do I do now, and found out there was competitions.
Actually, my dad had a cube and he was really trying to learn it, and then he eventually ended up teaching me the first 2 layers, and then I just went ahead and learned the last layer on my own in the course of like a month.
Well, there's actually a Rubik's Cube in my basement, and I really wanted to learn how to solve it, so my mom actually taught me the first 2 layers, but she never learned how to solve the last layer, so then she challenged me to learn how to solve it.
I saw my friend cubing in class, and he could do it in like 8 seconds or so, and I thought it was really cool. And then I went to my grandparents' house, and they had a cube, so I learned there.
What made you want to start cubing?
I kind of forgot.
You don't remember? Was it a YouTube channel or anything?
It might have been. I think I remember it being something that popped up in my recommended.
I think my friend, my friends are all in like a group saying, "Oh, you're too slow. You could do it." So I was like, "Well, at least I could do the same passion as me." So then I decided to get faster, and now I'm like way faster than all of them.
Originally I learned how to solve 3x3 from Dan Brown's tutorial, the really popular one everyone watches. I originally learned 2x2 from Noah Richardson on YouTube, and then everything else I'm not really sure, but those are where I learned.
Just the first 5 YouTube videos at the time.
Where did you learn how to solve?
Dan Brown, the pogo bat, from the tutorial on YouTube.
Yeah, so I learned from a YouTube channel called Dan Brown. That's where I learned beginner's method. And then I learned CFOP, which is a more advanced method, from paradox cubing.
Yeah, probably like pogo bat or something. One of the really old ones.
It was like this website called like youcandothecube.com or something. I don't quite remember. It wasn't that great. I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah. And then I learned ZZ from like a variety of sources because it took me like a week before I could even do EO.
So, I don't think I learned from one specific one. I had like a really hard time learning from each of them. I think I started on Dan Brown's old tutorial, and then I went to like a couple articles, and then there was like a Rubik's, a video on Rubik's.com that Tyson Mao taught, and I think I learned the majority from that, but I took bits and pieces from kind of all over the place.
I used an unusual tutorial. I don't remember the YouTube channel, but someone was using a V cube and taught me like, right soon and A perm, and then I just actually figure out the rest of the last layer on my own.
Various YouTube tutorials. I can't really remember one specific video that I used, but it took about a week.
I learned it on the Rubik's site, the beginner method, and then I learned CFOP from my friend.
So, do you remember where you learned how to solve this?
My dad taught me. I convinced him to get into cubing back when he didn't know how to get into What am I saying?
A funny story about how I first got it. I begged my grandma in Target to buy me the Rubik's 2.0, and she finally said yes because she thought maybe I could start a new path in life, which clearly that got me to here. So, and then I learned from Dan Brown's tutorial, and then that got me to there, and then I started learning CFOP, and now I'm like way faster. I used to be like 1 minute, now I'm like 25 seconds at least.
2 through 7 all the way up. I can do square 1, cube, pyraminx. Can't do clock. I can do 3 blind, but not any bigger blinds, and that's about it.
Right now, I'm at a point where I can solve anything because I can just figure it out intuitively. It's really cool.
All the WCA events, a bunch of non-WCA ones.
So I can solve 2x2 through 7x7. I can almost solve blindfold. I can solve one-handed. I can solve feet. Cube, pyraminx, square 1.
All the official WCA ones, and then tons more. I have like 300, 400 puzzles, so.
All the N by N's, Cube, pyraminx, megaminx, one-handed. Yes, I believe that's it.
All of them. There's the only ones I don't do or can't really solve. Like I could if I'd like played with it long enough, but just like weird shape-shifting ones. But as far as WCA ones go, I can do all of them.
I'm able to solve 3 through 7. I can solve cube, square 1, megaminx. Really every WCA event except for blind.
All of them that I have, I mean, I haven't come across a cube that I couldn't solve right now, except for the Sudoku cube. I've never been able to solve the Sudoku cube.
3x3, megaminx, 2x2, 4x4, pyraminx, mirror cube. Those are all I have, so yeah.
What cubes are you able to solve?
2x2 and 3x3, that's it. I don't know why my collection's so big.
I'm able to solve 2x2, 3x3, 4x4, maybe 5x5 if I get lucky and not get any parity. No 6x6 or 7x7 yet. Cube, megamix, and pyraminx.
don't be afraid to approach people and ask questions. It may seem like really intimidating to go up to fast people, but trust me, they're there to have fun just like you are. So feel free to go up, ask questions, because learning is how you get faster.
Do not give up. At a certain point in your progress, like you're gonna start to wobble, and it's gonna get a lot harder to get better. And I know a bunch of people who've just kind of dropped out during that time because they've just said it's too hard and they don't want to spend the time to continue. Do not do that. This is an amazing, amazing puzzle.
Kind of depends what they want to get out of cubing. Like if your goal is to get fast times, practice. If your goal is to have fun, meet new people, try new things.
Don't get discouraged, honestly. If you watch fast solvers, you'll see like things that just seem unreasonable, but just know that you can do that and that you should not give up just because you see a fast cuber.
Have fun with it. That's what's most important.
First of all, just like have fun. Don't be discouraged by fast solvers, of course. But also, one trap I fell down that kind of caused me to stop cubing for a few months was just focusing all of your energy and all of your effort on your averages. Sometimes it's good to just not worry about your averages for a while and just cube without any distractions and enjoy it.
Ooh. I would probably say if you're competing, I would just say have fun with it. There's a lot of people who are like really new, and when they go to their first competition or their first handful of competitions, they're really stressed about results, but like just go and have a good time. Like at this point, I don't even worry so much about my results. I just go to have fun with people, and I feel like that's half the benefit of going to these is just having a good time. Don't take it too seriously, just have a good time.
New cubers, I'd have to say, like, when you first learn it, don't go ahead and learn the advanced method. Use the really early beginner's method, and then eventually go up from skill level, first learn advanced cross, then advanced F2L, maybe learn a couple OLL, PLL, and try some new methods. And don't just buy cubes because they're fast and good. Make sure you know how to do, go fast on other cubes before going to bigger cubes.
You have to, if you don't enjoy it, then you won't practice. And if you don't practice, then you're not going to get good. So you really have to enjoy it. Like you have to actually want to do it and find pleasure out of it. Because if you don't enjoy it, then you're not going to practice.
Don't get discouraged and don't be intimidated. Look up, find somebody who can teach you or look up a tutorial or something, because there are methods you can learn to solve it. You don't have to figure it out yourself.
What advice would you give to new cubers?
Don't be negative in competitions and stuff. Don't say you're gonna lose. Even if you lose, then you still tried your best.
I think maybe you should buy not the most expensive cube, you should definitely, for Scube, I would say buy a Wingy for sure, because Wingy is probably the best Scube on the market of all time. And the Alhoon Scube too. This one's also really good, but yeah. You should definitely buy a budget 2x2 because you can get it for cheaper and it's probably just as good as a normal 3x3 or 2x2. I mean, so if you buy the most expensive cube, you wouldn't have money for the newest best cube for another one. You should save up for a cube that you would really need. So definitely buy more of a cheap 2x2 or 3x3. Anything that's cheap, start with that. And then once you're ready to start getting better cubes, then start I recommend the Thunderclap for sure. And for 2x2, I recommend a Chewen too. A Chewen's really good too.
If there are a million people listening, what would you say to them?
Subscribe to PewDiePie.
Alright, 1. Cubing is awesome. Try it if you haven't already. 2, competitions are awesome. Try them if you haven't already.
Yep. And last question, if there are a million people listening right now, what would you say to them?
Cats don't like lemons.
You should start cubing. It's a great hobby for all ages. It's really fun.
That's it?
Yep.
Cube, it's so much more fun than you think it is. It's amazing, and it's made me a more social person. It's introduced me to a lot of cool people and had me make new friends, and it's just amazing.
If there were 1 million people?
Yeah, let's just say if there are 1 million people listening.
Oh man, what would I say? I'd probably say there's a better person to get advice from.
Learn beginner's method first. Go up and don't stop. Don't give up.
I don't know. Rubik's Cubes are awesome.
Cubes are awesome.
Alright, and last question. If there are 1 million people listening right now, what would you tell them?
Don't be a non-cuber.
That cubing will definitely change your life. Like, even if you're not really into it, you can still like go to these fun competitions. And if you're too nervous to go to a competition, still go, because it's not really that nerve-wracking. Like my first competition, I was literally shaking in the back of the corner because I was so scared to talk to people because I thought people would not be nice. Which that was my first thought. But then once I started talking to people, I really felt like I was in the cubing community.